will pick up.
Okay.
But there was rumors that they wanted to see how he could handle, because remember he got hurt last year. So they wanted to make sure that his shoulder was okay, and then that if he showed that he could pitch a full season and stay healthy and show that his stuff didn't diminish because of the injury, then they would tear up the contract, say, you know what, we'll throw away the two club options, we'll sign you to a new 5 to 7 year, I don't know, I'll just throw out like $200 million, something like that.
Yeah, and you're correct. He's got one club option for next year, so that would, that would not only make him less tradable, but it would really increase the trade package drastically where there's
Yep.
an extra year. So, yeah. So, all right. Yeah, forget that. Kershaw's another one, but that's a big pipe dream. He has an opt out at the end of the year, but
Well, I don't know. I think he might be the one guy, depending on what happens with the Dodgers. I understand that, he was drafted by them, he came through their system, and he's won with them. They have never been able to get to that. I know they went to the postseason last year, but they've really abused him, and he's dealt with a lot of crap, and he hasn't been able to get to that postseason consistently, at least to where he can get to the point of getting to the World Series. But it would not shock me if he decided to opt out and the Dodgers don't re-sign him. I'm telling you, it's an option.
yeah, it could be. I mean, Andrew Friedman is there.
He's Mr. Cheapskate. He's from Tampa.
Yeah, right, exactly. But the funds and resources to, make a move like that now. But he's a
That's
really
true.
smart baseball guy though,
Oh,
and
very intelligent.
yeah, and can find other alternatives, to build his rotation. They're out of it. I mean, they ain't coming back. I mean,
No, no way.
let's see where
I
they're
just
at.
they would have to play 700 baseball. That's almost impossible.
Oh, actually, well, they're 4 games under 500, so they must. Wow, they've won 8 out of their last 10, though. Huh.
Yeah, they swept. I think they swept the Nationals last weekend.
Okay. Huh. I
So they're
mean,
playing better now. They
yeah,
are.
but
I
they're
will say
still
that.
not built,
No.
to get
I mean,
there.
you lost. I mean, they lost
Seager.
Seager for the year.
Yeah.
Their pitching staff. I mean, we have a better shot pitching for them. Within the next week.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's definitely a team that fell short. I had them winning the wild card. I picked Arizona to win that division.
so did I.
Yeah, and right now it's looking more like the Rockies, just based on health. But who knows if Robbie Ray's going to come back? Like ever since the playoffs started last year, he
Yeah.
just hasn't looked good. And Greinke is, I think, trending the right way. And Clay Buchholz, I haven't seen if he started again with them, but he went 5 scoreless the Sunday before. I guess a week ago today, actually. Yeah, so I don't know, but I like Torey Lovello, and I think Mike Hazen's a smart, baseball guy. So I think they'll figure it out, but who knows if it'll be this year or not. And Goldschmidt too. I mean, what the hell?
He's been bad this year. He's been struggling. He's been bad since the end of September.
Yeah, he just not great. I guess he hit. Was it a walk off or he had a home run in that wild card game anyway.
Yeah, he hit it off of Jonathan Gray.
Yeah, and
He was on a curveball hanger.
you're like an encyclopedia with those pitches. Yeah.
Well, I was a pitcher, so.
Oh, okay.
But if I remember the home runs,
Yeah. Oh, that explains a lot.
yeah, the whiplash is still there. But I mean the wild card game. I guess he hit a home run off Jonathan Gray last year in May. He hit a pitch, the same exact pitch. He hit it out. And for some odd reason, Jonathan Gray was like, oh, let me go back to the well again. Let me throw that same pitch, same count. And it didn't work again.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't have a good start that game either. None of the starters did, actually.
Did any starter have a good, outing in the postseason last year? I felt like I saw 2. and they were all by Verlander.
Yeah, Verlander was pretty solid. I don't know. How did Keuchel do in the against the
Keuchel was
Yankees?
good against Kershaw. Remember that game was like 2 hours long, and everyone was so mad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, and he
It was supposed to be 4 hours long.
he looked good against us too, so he was pretty solid. I'm just trying to think through. Obviously, Kluber tailed off pretty bad, and Severino was up and down.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know, how did Gray do? He must not have done too well.
Tanaka did well. Tanaka pitched pretty good.
Yeah, which was crazy because he had such a bad, at least first half anyway.
Yeah, he gave up 35 home runs last year.
Wow. Yeah. That's
he's on pace for that this year too. I think he's on pace for more this year.
And he, let's see, he had an opt out. And he voided it. So how long do you have him for?
The rest of this season and 2 more years after that.
Oof.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you think he'll ever have anything done with his elbow?
I've said for the last, 3 years, every time I'm on the radio and I talk about the Yankees, I say, you know what, his UCL is going to pop. It's just a matter of when. And I keep getting, poo-poo in my face. And Tanaka just keeps laughing like, haha, it's not going to pop. But I just feel like, how does that UCL just not snap when I think it was a 55% tear.
Oh, wow.
And it still hasn't snapped yet.
Yeah, he had the platelet injection, so.
Yep, him and Garrett Richards. And Richards actually had a worse tear. He started for the Angels today. And I heard Michael Kay say he almost completely tore his UCL, but he opted not to have Tommy John. He had the plasma rich, the PRP injection, and it completely healed.
That's interesting, yeah.
That's odd.
Right. And when David Price was going through his controversy, 2-3 weeks ago, however long it was now, they had his wrist looked at, and just for the hell of it, I think the Red Sox front office was just sick of him, and they're like, we're having everything looked at. And when you come back here, with the team, we're going to know exactly what's going on. And they had his elbow and shoulder looked at, and both were described as pristine. And he's the one.
Odd.
He's the one who had the elbow issue last year, and it was a unique elbow that supposedly only Nolan Ryan was the only other case that they knew of, and so yeah. And Price's attitude has changed big time, and so I think somebody read him the riot act, like somebody above Alex Cora even, and and he's pitched pretty well. He goes, I think he's tomorrow against Toronto actually. We'll get into that in just a minute. I just want to ask you one more thing before we do get into that. What's Machado going to cost? Because he's the real big fish, that's going to be on the market.
He's going to cost, and I can't believe we're even getting to this number, but it would not shock me if he got over $350 million.
Oh, actually, I meant for in terms of a trade in July.
Oh, okay. In terms of a trade, it's the same thing with Brian Dozier. Obviously, Machado is a better player than Dozier. I think that goes without saying. But I think that looking at what Baltimore has failed to do, they did not maximize their assets when they had controllability, which what I mean is having the length of the contract where you have over 1 year of control.
Right.
Machado's a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have a lot of time with that player. So
right.
Why would you give?
They waited a year too long. In other words,
exactly.
Yeah.
So why would you give up a top prospect? Your number one, your number two, for a guy you're going to have 2 months.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. A lot of GMs, when they deal with Dan Duquette, are going to probably reference the J.D. Martinez deal last year where nothing was given up. But, who who needs him realistically? I mean, you guys, I must be pretty happy with Andahar at
I don't
third.
want Machado.
Yeah, I mean, because I think if you guys put Clint Frazier in a package, I think that's going to be the best package there is.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to give up anyone that good for him. But I mean, you guys, one way or the other, you guys could conceivably be a fit. I think we can.
Well, here's the thing, though. He wants to play shortstop. He doesn't want to play third.
True. Yeah.
So that limits the options even more. You saw. I think you saw my tweet not too long, or I think it was like a week ago, when I said, I could see Machado playing for like the Braves or the Phillies, but I can see him playing third base for them, not shortstop. But he wants to stay at short. So that kind of really, if he really wants to play shortstop, he might. Like, where's he going to play? You're not going to go to the Dodgers. They have Seager. You're not going to go to the Yankees. You have Didi. You're not going to the Red Sox because of Bogarts. So where are you going to go? To the Padres?
That's an excellent point. And, if you're Machado and you're trying to kind of sell yourself to potential suitors once the season ends, don't you want to be like, yeah, I'll play third too. I'll play anything, just... show me the money,
No, exactly.
If he's out there saying, no, I'll only play this, what are you telling teams at that point? You're going to be not flexible and, not act within the team's best interests.
And that's the worst thing about it, because if you want to acquire him in a trade, but you tell him that he's going to play third base only, that, you're only going to get a disgruntled player who obviously wants to be there so he could try to get his best numbers, but he's not going to be happy. And then if you try to sign him and you tell him that, okay, we want you to play third, but you could play short on this amount of days, or however you want to look at it, he might still be pissed off because he wants to play short and not third. So I get why he wanted to do it, but for the long term, he's a third baseman. He should have just stayed there.
Right. Yeah, that's so hopefully his agent will have a conversation with him and be like, dude, you
good luck to his agent.
Yeah. Yeah, he's all I know, he's not a Boris guy, right?
I don't think so, unless it wouldn't shock me if he signed with him tomorrow, because Scott Boras sees like $500 million right there.
Yeah, I have my own theories as to how those are going to play out. I don't think either of them are going to get 300. I think they're going to get deals probably in the mid 200s, which are front loaded, and then with opt outs. So they'll get their 40 million possibly, but just towards the front of it, and opt outs after the third, fourth, and fifth years or whatever.
It'll be a combination of the Hosmer and JD contracts.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Kind of. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just don't see a long, just a huge overall deal, but it's anyone's guess. And I don't know if I would want Scott Boras to be my agent at this point, to be honest with you, because I'm thinking, geez, these guys are blackballing this guy on purpose.
Oh yeah.
I that's probably not where I'd want to go. And look at some other guys. Stanton isn't a Boras guy. He got a huge deal. I don't know who represents Kershaw. I'm pretty sure it's not Boras, but and he got a big deal. Price is I don't know who represents him, but he was the highest paid pitcher, of all time at the time he signed that deal. So I don't know that having Scott Boras necessarily translates to getting the best deal, but
I agree with that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see that playing out the way a lot of other people think, and it's going to be really intriguing, throughout that whole off season anyway.
It's a crapshoot. You can't predict on who's who would have predicted last year or last off season that Hosmer was going to be on the market that long. JD,
right.
Jake Arrieta. Nobody knew. It's just a matter of how is the market translating. What are teams looking at, and how is it being viewed? Last year, it was viewed because of ages and analytics. Is it going to be like that next year when you're talking about guys like Machado and Harper who are in their mid-20s, and you're going to get 4, maybe 5 plus prime years.